This episode is part of a mini-series focused on improving your personal effectiveness. Today, we're diving into part 2 of time optimization. So last week we had part 1, and also as part of this series, we've got the assertiveness module prior to that. So today you're going to discover how to align your diary with your natural energy levels, how to beat procrastination by using accountability, and practical strategies to protect your time so you can get more done without burning out. To help you implement this, I've created a free resource called the Time Generator. It's designed to save you over 500 minutes a week. If you click on the link in the show notes or the link that you can see on screen right now, you can grab your copy there. Downloading this also gives you weekly access to the Brilliant Leaders Notebook, which gives you a written summary for those of you who want to take the learning to the next level or take a deeper dive on some of the subjects that I talk about today. Finally, this is a live recording from a leadership development program that I ran, and it's packed with practical exercises. Now, you can either join in with the delegates and feel free to pause as we do those activities, or wait until the end in the pause, reflect, act segment, where I will give you a summary of all the reflective questions at the end. So let's go. Hello, it's your leadership coach, Estelle Read, and host of Optimising Leader Brilliance, the place for calm, confident, and strategic leadership. Stay tuned to the end for a mini coaching and reflective practice. Find out more about my services by heading over to estelleread.com. So we're now going to look at how do we optimize our diary and our efficiency through our energy. So my backstory is workaholic, stressed, became a stressy workaholic because I was trying to prove my worth. So I'd work all hours. Organising my diary, reclaiming that time really helped me out. What I also noticed is that, because bear in mind, I got so poorly, I couldn't even climb stairs. It was really bad. I couldn't lift my child out of a car seat. I couldn't walk across the road to shops. And so I had to really learn to prioritise my energy. And the doctor said to me, there's no cure. You're going to have this condition for life. It's called ME. And I thought, no way, there's got to be a better way. So I learned how to manage my energy. That was what came out of it. And I've gone from not being able to, as I say, climb stairs to now we climb mountains. So I really do think anything is possible if you set your mind to it. So first of all, is about being realistic with your appointments. So going back to my example, he was being unrealistic, thinking about how much he could cram into his diary, and it was affecting his happiness, it was affecting family life, and it was affecting his overall state of mind at work. His colleagues, the other partners in the business, used to complain about him being stressed, and he would bang the table, and he was a bit grumpy to be around. So pacing his production line helped. But it's also building in time for those smaller things. So if you know something has got to be done, so a really good example, you know your stats are available on a Tuesday, you can block that time out on a Tuesday to get that done. Now, if you hadn't done that, and some things are time critical, aren't they? So if you let that deadline lapse, then it's more, I know for my podcast stats, it's a lot more complicated to get backdated stats than it is to go on a Tuesday, I can just collect the last week of stats. And then blocking out regular admin time. You can't be in meetings all the time or doing project work all the time. You also need to administer as well. And then the other good thing you can do, so who here experiences procrastination when they don't want to do a task? So they put things off, or we'll do that tomorrow, that type of thing. So a workaround, and especially as you are coaching buddies as well, is to block that task, put time in your diary for the task that you're procrastinating on, and then tell your coaching buddy when you're going to do it and that you're going to update them once you've done it. And then the other thing is so the benefit of being aware of what's in your diary is to use, this is the analogy I use. So many years ago, I went on a advanced driving course, went on it through work, and you drive down the motorway at high speed with a policeman next to you, and they talk about how to drive safely on the motorway. And one of their tips is that you look to the furthest point in the road and then you scan forward to your vehicle. So you're always aware what's ahead and then what's in front of you. So you can see if there are any issues up ahead, make adjustments where you are. And it's the same with your diary. Does anyone still use a paper diary, just out of interest? Because some people do like to use one, but we're all digital, fine. The benefit being recurring appointments. So if going back to example, is that a recurring appointment in your diary? Yeah, cool. Saves, it takes all the remembering work. Saves time, task reminders I've already mentioned, and then obviously you can schedule your meetings, you know all about that. But you know this is a bit controversial sometimes that everybody can access your diary. Is there the option within your business to put an appointment in your diary and to keep it private so that people don't know that you're booking in admin time? Good. Do that. Protect your time by doing that. Good. So, when it comes to managing your energy, it's thinking about when are you at your best for physical and mental activities. So, I know, for example, I can't get up and do the gym first thing. I am rubbish physically first thing in the morning. Whereas I know that actually the admin block, I can do my bitty checking in tasks first thing in the morning, cup of coffee, do that in a relaxed way, then I'm ready to do my exercise. And this is what I mean about, I know that you've not all got the luxury of being able to do entirely what you want with your own time, but there might be a version of that works for you. So it might be, actually, I'm best at going to the gym during lunchtime or after work. You work out what's best for you. The other thing as well is it's important that we move every 25 minutes. And this is because our lymphatic system slows down, and our lymphatic system is the system that's responsible for clearing out all the toxins and the sludge. So a really nifty technique is to use the Pomodoro technique. So it's called the Pomodoro technique because you can get those tomato timers. Have you seen them? Pomodoro is a type of tomato. So you put the timer on your desk. As I say, I use my good old-fashioned timer like this. You set it for 25 minutes. And this is great if you are feeling like, oh, I'm going to procrastinate over this. And I had it with a podcast guest actually, and they said, I really want to write a book. And I said, oh, what's stopping you? Oh, I just then pick up the pen or whatever else. And I said, how about this? You just set yourself a timer for 25 minutes and you write for 25 minutes and then that's it. And that's how you end up writing a book, to be honest. You just keep adding blocks of time before you know it, ta-da, it is done. And I saw on social media the other day that he's done it. He started writing. He's got his regular writing routine. And it's often the first step that's the most challenging. So the other thing to mention as well is that our nervous system, so every 90 minutes, so this is to do with our ultradian rhythm. Every 90 minutes, if we don't take a break or a breath, we stress our nervous systems out. So we go into fight or flight. And you can see it if you use an app. So I use an app on my watch. I'm a big fan of monitoring health on my watch. I'm on apps. There's something called Stress Watch, and something as pleasurable as having our best friends come and stay over the weekend, because I'm entertaining, cooking food, thinking about where we're traveling to look at tourist activities. Actually, I didn't get much of a break and I put my body into stress. It was enjoyable, but by Sunday night, I was absolutely shattered. So it is, we need breaks from things, and it's the same with work. So every 90 minutes, get up, get out your chair, come make a cup of tea, look out the window, so that you're not then producing stress hormones. And then the other thing with energy management is to eat food that sustains your energy. So if I'm presenting in person, so presenting anyway is challenging because you've got to think about what you're saying, you've got to follow a timetable, you've got to be able to respond to questions that come in. So if I'm running an 8-hour course, that takes a lot of energy. So I make sure I have bananas, nuts. I don't eat any bread. I will eat things that give me a consistent flow of energy. Because when I was doing the research for my book, came across an interesting study and it said donuts make you angry. And that's to do with the trans fats. So when we eat all the tasty stuff, cakes, donuts, biscuits, anything that is fatty, fast food, and the brain will look out for this stuff and it will crave it. But the difficulty with that is that our blood sugar will rise and then we'll crash. And when we're in a crash moment, then that's when our state of mind is less resourceful. Hence, donuts make you angry. And then, if you can, take a walk. So today I couldn't do our full, we do about an hour and 15 normally, up a fell. My husband's busy, so I did about 30 minutes. But it was just enough to clear my mind and get ready to be with you guys. This time I'm going to break you into groups and you're going to have a discussion about your own energy. So if we go to the time management handouts, we're going to go to page 16. So you're going to have a discussion about energy, when you are best creative, problem solving, presenting, analysing data, repetitive, mundane tasks, remembering you've only got 4 good hours. The other 4 hours will be to do tasks that don't require a lot of bandwidth. And just have a discussion, have a bit of a debate about it. So we are going to look at how do we eliminate distractions and establish our boundaries. So interestingly, Microsoft did a study and they reckon it can take us 15 minutes to get back into an activity once our concentration is broken. So I said earlier that I've got my husband at home, I had my daughter at home last week, they're both in and out, and that if you're doing high concentration work, that would then take me a while to get back in. So this is where this theory makes sense. So when it comes to distractions, it's thinking about who are the people that interrupt you the most. So who are the culprits? So again, many years ago, when I worked in HR, we used to work in an open plan office. We could see when a certain person, so our biggest culprit, used to wander all the way around the office and they would be disrupting lots of people as they went. And then they would eventually get round to HR. And if I could see them coming, I would this is really bad HR, by the way. I'm not in HR anymore. But if we had a chair in HR and they would come and sit on that chair, and then it was very difficult to get them off the chair and back out the room. So we used to put a box on the chair so that it was less welcoming. But it's thinking about who takes your time. The other thing as well is, so having worked in a law firm, there was a lot of detailed talkers. So if you fit into that category, so typically your theorists, so there's 4 different learning styles. There's pragmatist, activist, theorist, and reflector. So theorists, as it sounds, are all about the theory. They like to research information. But in order to explain their thinking, they can often use a lot more words, which of course takes a lot more time. So to give you an example, many years ago, my husband is a theorist, he's a chemist by trade, and I said, can you take a look at my pension statement, which was like that, and then give me a synopsis of what's happening with it? And he dutifully took it away. Can you do a little thing to help me out? And that's to simply hit subscribe or the follow button now, wherever it is that you're listening. So that's maybe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, because that will help the podcast get found by other people. And that then enables us to keep going because we continue to keep growing. What would be 5-star amazing though is if you could also leave a review. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your support. He returned and he started with, let me start with the history of pensions. Now, I am a pragmatist, I'm an activist. And I said, oh, don't start with I said, I will get lost if you start with the history of pensions. Can you just give me the headlines? So be aware of whether you are a detailed talker, and control your interruptions when it comes to your phone and also your iPad, your laptop. So I don't have, the only notifications that I allow on my phone are text messages. I'm not on WhatsApp. I know this is probably like shock horror. I came off WhatsApp about 18 months ago. It is the best thing I've done in years. Appreciate. Show of hands, who uses it for business? Does anyone use WhatsApp for business? Do you have to use it for business as well? I was getting drawn into family discussions, so loads of family politics, and we were also part of a neighbourhood WhatsApp group, and there was lots of negative conversations going on there as well about, I won't even bore you with the details, but it was just an unnecessary waste of time. So when I say I go in and check my phone, I'm not checking my phone because I've got a little bubble that says I've got a notification. It's because I'm choosing. So I control, the phone doesn't control me. The same applies with my laptop. I've silenced all the pings. So, when we get an email that comes up, that's all silenced as well. Now, the other thing that will enhance your productivity is monotasking. So multitasking reduces grey matter. And this isn't me saying, this is what the studies say. But also we've got this greater chance of errors. And we then have to do corrective work, which is why it takes longer time. So what I mean by sequential monotasking is, so for example, I will be in podcast editing mode tomorrow, and I've got podcasts back to edit because editing requires a certain type of focus. Then I will shift to creating blogs. So that's do all the blogs together. Then I will get into scheduling all the reels together. So if I was to break each one of those tasks down, I wouldn't be in the flow and as productive. The other thing that enables us to be more focused, because again, studies are showing that multitasking is not good, focus is what delivers results, is to set our boundaries. So to set our working hours. So I love my job. I can happily sit here into the evening and I'll get down a rabbit hole, I'll be highly focused, but then I'm not spending time with my family. So, and I'm a night owl, not a lark. So I have to set myself working hours. So I set the target of being away from, so I have my tea about 6, and then at 7, I've got to make sure that I'm closing up for the day and carrying on with family time, etc. If you are the sort of person, and especially I talk about introverts, I'm introverted, just as you were saying, you get your energy from being with a group. After I've been with a group, I need quiet time to recharge. So if you fit in that category, using quiet rooms, working from home, and allow voicemail to do its job. For example, what my mum will do, will go, hello, I can't talk right now because I'm busy making tea. I'll say, Mum, just let it go through to voicemail. That's what voicemail's for. That's fine. Or take it if calls are crucial to your area of work, take it in turns to look after each other's calls. And then think about how available you're going to be. So this isn't my suggestion, it's someone else's, is if you're working in open plan and you need to get your head down, working in a private room isn't an option, working at home isn't an option. They use a china cat on the desk to signal, I'm trying to get my head down, I'm focusing on something. Or the other alternative is if you've got a team member or team members that are routinely interrupting you, allocate an interruption slot. So when I used to work for the lawyers, they had trainee solicitors, and they used to have between 4 and 5 as their interruption slot to get supervision. So interrupt me as much as you like. And what it also used to do is train the trainee solicitors to put all their queries into a folder and then take all the queries all at once, rather than back and forth keep interrupting. Now, if you're like me and you are creative, we can get distracted. Who else is creative and has lots of ideas or gets plagued by ideas? So I get plagued by ideas. So this is my journal, and I don't know whether you can see. So there is a section, no, you're not going to be able to see. There's a section on there called ideas. So, and I am a woman of a certain age, which means that when I get an idea, I have to capture it quickly. Because otherwise, so the other morning, I was in the shower, I was thinking, oh my God, that's such a great idea. And I had to keep repeating it until I got out the shower. Fancy a chat? Or maybe you're interested in the Optimised Leader Program Next Level. You can book a free 15-minute call by scanning the QR code on screen or see the link in my show notes. And I put it in my book. Now, if I don't put it in my book, one, the idea is gone, but also I then overwhelm myself with things to do. Does that make sense? So it's captured. I can come back to it when I'm ready. So use an ideas jar, a folder, or a journal, but be in what you're in. We were saying earlier that you compartmentalize. When I'm with my team, I'm with my team. When I'm with, I don't know, my family, I'm with my family. We can't be in both, can we, all at once? So the summary for today is protect your time, block those confidential slots, those private slots that are for you to do your admin time so that you slow the pace of your production down. Use time blocking, and also using the monotasking or batch tasking, doing everything together will help enhance your productivity. So we've got the time generator. This is a resource I normally only give to clients on another program, but I thought you might as well have it as well. And it shows you how you can save up to 500 minutes, but work out how you can save yourself some time. So here's that time generator, and you can access it either by heading to the show notes and you can download it there, or you can see a link here on screen. Before we sign off, I'd like to invite you to my quick reflective practice called Pause, Reflect, Act. As your leadership coach, I'm here to help you translate today's insights into personal growth and your next steps. Answer the prompts that follow in your journal or notes. Alternatively, you can access my complimentary journal and self-coaching tool in the show notes or head over to estelleread.com. So here's today's pause, reflect, act questions. Now, there's 5 unusually, and that's because each one of them relates to one of the learning points on today's podcast. So number 1, energy awareness. At what time of day do you feel most focused and energized? How does your current diary reflect or contradict those natural peaks in your energy? Number 2, procrastination. What is the one task you keep putting off? What would it feel like to schedule it, tell someone about it, and actually get it done this week? Go on, I dare you, put answers in the chat. Let me know what you've been procrastinating over. I'll hold you accountable. Number 3, protecting your time. Where in your week are you saying yes to others at the cost of your own priorities? What one boundary could you put in place to protect that time? Number 4, realistic planning. If you looked at your diary for the next week, honestly, is what you've scheduled actually achievable? What would you need to remove or move to make it realistic? Number 5, looking ahead, using the motorway driving analogy I spoke about on the episode. When you scan ahead in your life or work, what's coming up that you need to start preparing for now before it becomes urgent? If you'd like to be notified when the next episode drops, remember to subscribe. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. Finally, if any of these topics have sparked your interest and you'd like to work with me, you can apply for a free discovery call at estelleread.com. Let's see if we're a good fit. You'll also find plenty of free resources there. I'm Estelle Read, executive coach, speaker, and best-selling author, and this has been the Optimising Leader Brilliance podcast. Thanks for listening. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for any specific advice related to your situation.